inauguration ceremony of the ATAL Incubation Center at NMIMS and the nationwide inauguration of the Women Entrepreneurship Platform, both being initiatives of Niti Aayog. I am Bhumi and this is Sagar, and we are your hosts for today.
Before we move on with the ceremony, let us understand what exactly the ATAL Incubation Center and the Women Entrepreneurship Platform is. AIC, located at Mumbai campus of state-of-the-art NMIMS School of Business, will have access to institute's Wi-Fi-enabled infrastructure like technical labs, seminar halls, conference room, boardrooms, etc. AIC's NMIMS Incubation Center is sector agnostic with regards to incubation of entrepreneurs, but considering the high quality of R&D infrastructure, expert faculty in areas of technology, management and engineering, pharmacy, science, business management, available at NMIMS University, AIC-NMIMS Incubation Center will focus on supporting entrepreneurs and startups in early stages of establishment.
The other reason why we're here today is to initiate the Women Entrepreneurship Platform. The Women Entrepreneurship Platform is a first of its kind unified access portal which brings together women from different parts of India to realize their entrepreneurial aspirations. The idea of this platform was first mooted by Shri Amitabh Kant, CEO, Niti Aayog, who announced the setting up of a Women Entrepreneurship Platform in the Niti Aayog at conclusion of the 8th Global Entrepreneurial Summit held in Hyderabad in 2017 with an overarching aim of Women First, Prosperity for All. In addition to providing services such as free credit ratings, mentorship, funding support to all the women entrepreneurs, apprenticeship, and corporate partnerships, WEP will encourage entrepreneurs to share their entrepreneurial journeys, stories, and experiences to nurture mutual learning. WEP platform, as a driver of change, will also promote offline initiatives and outreach programs to promote entrepreneurial spirit among potential women entrepreneurs in collaboration with partner organizations.
Such great initiatives indeed. To inaugurate these initiatives, we have with us today Shri Amrish Patel, Chancellor, NMIMS deemed to be University, and President of Shri Villapalle Kelavani Mandal. We also have Dr. Rajan Saxena, Vice Chancellor, NMIMS deemed to be University. We have Dr. Sharad Maheshkar, Pro Vice Chancellor, NMIMS University, Dr. Meena Chintamani, Registrar, NMIMS University. We have Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan, Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog. Mr. Harshal Shah, CEO, AIC-NMIMS Incubation Center. Ms. Anna Roy, Advisor, Niti Aayog. Mr. Ashwini Kumar, Head, WEP Finance Vertical. Ms. Namita Thapar, Executive Director, MCOP Pharmaceutical. Ms. Asu Shuyash, MD and CEO, CRISIL. Ms. Jyoti Sudhir, Chairwoman, CII IWN Gujarat Chapter. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Somdatta Singh, who is an entrepreneur and also an angel investor.
Before moving forward, we request Dr. Saxena to share a few words on this occasion. Dr. Rajan Saxena, along with being the Vice Chancellor of NMIMS deemed to be University, is also the Director of AIC-NMIMS Incubation Center. Under his leadership, NMIMS has improved its tie-ups with reputed foreign universities and was also invited by GMAC to be its member. Dr. Saxena was instrumental in establishing the School of Economics and School of Law and other NMIMS campuses at Bengaluru and Hyderabad. Dr. Saxena has also contributed to make NMIMS degrees more contemporary and industry relevant. He has been instrumental in transforming students' experience by focusing on holistic development of graduates through both classroom and non-classroom learning, including field projects and soft skills, etc. He has focused on enhancing quality of programs and their delivery. Dr. Saxena has ensured significant improvement in competitive position of each school of NMIMS. We welcome you, sir, to share a few words with us.
I would request our dignitaries to first light the lamp and inaugurate the whole event. Thank you.
तुषारहार धवल शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणां वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा।
I would now like to request our Vice Chancellor to facilitate Mr. Ramanan Ramanathan with a bouquet. The Pro Vice Chancellor to facilitate Mr. Ashwani Kumar with a bouquet. And our Registrar to facilitate Ms. Anna Roy with a bouquet. Felicitate. Please have a huge round of applause. Now I would like to invite Dr. Rajan Saxena to share a few words with us.
Good afternoon to all of you. Our guests this afternoon, Mr. Ramanan, Ms. Anna Roy, Mr. Ashwani Kumar, our director on the AIC, and the Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sharad Mesker, Registrar of the University, Dr. Meena Chintamani, the CEO of AIC, Mr. Harshal Shah, the deans, the members of the faculty, the CEO of SVKM, the invited panelists for the panel discussion that's going to follow this formal inaugural kind of a program. And ladies and gentlemen, well, let me at the outset extend to each one of you and our guests this afternoon a very hearty welcome on behalf of NMIMS. It's indeed one of those kinds of dreams that has today come true, something with which we started off almost about 2 years ago, Mr. Ramanan, when the scheme was announced by the Government of India, and with all the kind of competition which was there. Amongst that, we were one of those who were shortlisted. And we are very happy to say that today is the day when this AIC is getting off to a start at NMIMS. And I'm pretty confident that given the kind of ecosystem of SVKM and NMIMS, we would see many, many young boys and girls coming forward with ideas to incubate their own startups or to incubate their own enterprises itself. NMIMS' journey in entrepreneurship is a long journey. We started way back in 1990 with our collaboration with the University of Stirling and with British Council. And at that time, the scope of that kind of a collaboration was in the form of a research that we got off to a start in terms of the graduate career aspirations towards entrepreneurship, which led towards the development of the Women Entrepreneurship Program. And the first Women Entrepreneurship Program that got off to a start was in 1993 at NMIMS, once again funded by the ODA, the Overseas Development Agency, and the Commonwealth, and that was conducted along with the University of Stirling. That program subsequently went over for funding purposes with SIDBI. So SIDBI became our partner. And now is the day that we see the graduation of this program coming to a point at which we are now talking about a women entrepreneurship portal that the government of India has really getting off to a start today. So it's a kind of a journey which we also feel to be proud of. It's something that we have carried forward. And I must say that for these purposes, one of our center today has played a very significant role, and that is the Jasani Center for Sustainability Management and Social Entrepreneurship. And that's a center that really was given the task of taking this women entrepreneurship program forward. And subsequently now that we have an independent school on entrepreneurship and family business, the Praveen Dalal School of Entrepreneurship and Family Business, that is a school that is going to be taking it forward. Not only so, we have seen this kind of an entrepreneurship, the spirit of entrepreneurship flow in the university, in various schools. One of our youngest schools, like a School of Commerce, today has had a large number of young boys and girls coming out with those kinds of startups, and some of them have really been able to become so successful kind of entrepreneurs. Besides, of course, the business school continuing to come out with many more startups and entrepreneurs taking off to a start. Plus, at the same time, the same thing is there in the context of engineering and pharmaceutical sciences and some of the other schools that are there. So today is the day when NMIMS as an institution, which started in 1981 as a business school and is today a multidisciplinary university, I must say that we are today well equipped to take forward the entrepreneurship task and development of the entrepreneurship, because we have today those disciplines, the fact, and the facilities to really take it forward. We today have the automation labs in our engineering school. We have a whole lot of a central instrumentation lab in our pharmaceutical sciences for the purposes of taking forward the kind of work in the area of health sciences and allied health itself. Plus, at the same time, in the area of sciences, the molecular biology and some of those kinds of an area, we have the labs that are there. We are in the process of putting up an independent additive manufacturing center per se. And that would really mean that we would be in a position, all these startups would have an opportunity to really develop their products on a 3D kind of a printer itself. So they would be able to really create those kind of product prototypes, and that should be able to give them that kind of an edge, which is truly required when this kind of an activity gets off to a start in the university framework. Today, with almost about close to 700 faculty members in the university, and with 5 campuses within the university, and almost about 14,000 students pursuing their on-campus programs, I think we have an opportunity to create new India with some great new ideas. And I'm sure that all of you who are sitting in this audience, those of you who are the students of NMIMS, or for that matter, let us say this SVKM colleges, etc., you today have an opportunity to come out with some of the brilliant ideas and innovative ideas which can really bring a change to the country itself. This country requires those innovative ideas. Many of the challenges that we have today cannot be resolved just by administrative decisions, cannot be resolved by just people sitting in Delhi and creating a policy framework. They are going to be resolved by young entrepreneurs. And that is the kind of a spirit with which the ATAL Innovation Center was announced by the Prime Minister almost about 2 years back. And I must say that we all have this kind of an opportunity today. Our Chancellor's Challenge is yet another opportunity by which all of you have you get an opportunity to come out with some brilliant ideas, and some of the top 3 ideas go through for funding purposes. And NMIMS provides the necessary seed capital that is there. So with all this, I'm pretty confident that the initiative that is getting off to a start today will really flower, and in times to come, we will not only achieve the targets that we have committed to into the AIC, but at the same time, we'll be able to exceed those kinds of targets. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. We have with us Mr. R. Ramanan, Mission Director of the ATAL Innovation Mission here today for the inauguration of the ATAL Incubation Center at NMIMS. Mr. Ramanan, along with being the Mission Director of the ATAL Innovation Mission, is the Additional Secretary, Niti Aayog, and the ATAL Innovation Mission is a strategic national innovation initiative of Niti, spanning schools, universities, NGOs, and the industry. Mr. Ramanan was previously Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer and member of the Board of Directors of CMC Limited, a subsidiary of the globally acclaimed Tata Consultancy Services. Mr. Ramanan graduated from IIT Bombay in Electrical Engineering in 1981. He is also a Harvard Business School Advanced Management Program alumni and accredited by the Cambridge University in Sustainability Leadership. Mr. Ramanan received the CEO of the Year award in 2015 from CMO Asia and India's top 3 most valuable CEO recognition by Business World in 2011 and 2013, Indira Gandhi Sadbhavna and Rajiv Gandhi Shiromani Awards in 2005-2006, and many other recognitions for outstanding contributions in innovation and business leadership. He has recently been honored with the Mint SAP Digitalist Award on 19th April 2018 in Mumbai. I would invite Mr. Ramanan to give the inaugural address of the ATAL Incubation Center at NMIMS and share his thoughts with us.
Honorable Mr. Saxena, distinguished people on the dais, distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the audience, and my young students who are out there. And I see very happily that probably the number of girls here and women are outnumbering the number of boys, and that is suitable for the occasion. First of all, I have a confession to make. I am surrounded by 4 women in my life every day who are very empowered women, and as a result of which I am where I am today. So I want to first thank those 4 women, my mother-in-law to start with. Very often people talk about their mother, but my mother-in-law has been very instrumental in where I am today. My 2 daughters who talk 19 to the dozen and have every possible advice to give me at every possible time. My wife, of course, who tries to outdo them in that. And, of course, my mother and my sister, who are unfortunately no more, but have played a very, very sterling role in shaping my life. So I believe that, the saying that behind every successful man is a woman needs to be replaced by behind every successful man are at least 6 women. And I do think that no man in India or anywhere in the world can attain any form of success without empowered women who are backing him and supporting him all the time. So first of all, I want to convey my heartiest congratulations to NMIMS for being one of more than 20,000 applicants who gave their applications for setting up an ATAL Incubation Center. And so you have credited extraordinarily well. A big hand of applause. We are a country with 1.3 billion people. We are also a country which is having a demographic dividend, as they say, with 65% of our country under 35 years old. We are going to have 150 million students entering into the workplace over the next 5 to 10 years. We have, according to the 2011 census, and probably now the numbers are outdated, but according to the 2011 census, more than 49% of our population is women. When we are talking about 150 million students entering into the workplace, we are talking about more than 50% of them being women or girl children. So we have a demographic dividend which needs to be ensured that it is alive and contributing to the economy and to the social benefits of the country. How can a country progress if 50% of its women are not an equal partner, if not a better partner for progress? How could a country progress if only 14% of the entrepreneurs in this country are women and not 50%? How can we progress if we still have gender discrimination and gender inequality and women are not empowered, enabled, or we create an ecosystem of entrepreneurship and innovation where women can thrive and realize their full potential? This is the opportunity in front of us. The ATAL Innovation Mission has embarked on a very simple mission. The mission is, how do you promote innovation and how do you promote entrepreneurship across the length and breadth of the country? And when we talk of promoting innovation and promoting entrepreneurship, we are including every possible citizen and the youth of this country, which means more than 50% of the women and the girl children who are all part of the fabric of the society that we are in are a part of this innovation movement and are a part of the entrepreneurship movement. And therefore, I find it extraordinarily fitting and extraordinarily appropriate that today you have not only the inauguration of innovation and entrepreneurship through the form of an ATAL incubation center in your very, very lovely university, but also you're having the ushering of women entrepreneurship and a recognition of the women empowering platforms that will enable women to realize their full potential. The ATAL Innovation Mission is embarked upon innovation from a very, very simple perspective. How do you ensure the innovation in the country if you don't create innovative problem-solving mindsets in the youth of our country? We are all used to an educational system today which is rote-based learning. We are all used to how do we get more marks and get into a good university? How do we get better marks and get into a foreign university maybe? How do you get better marks and get into a job? We are all being tuned and trained to become job seekers. There has to be a mechanism of breaking this rote learning mindset because we are a country with 1.3 billion people. And if 1.3 billion people are riding upon 150 million students who are going to be entering into the workplace, what we need are not just job seekers, but job creators. What we need are entrepreneurs who can create jobs, not just seek jobs. And what we need are entrepreneurs and job creators who are fully empowered and knowledgeable about the sweeping changes that are happening in the world landscape because of technology. Whether it is IoT, whether it is cloud services, whether it is mobility, whether it is big data analytics, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is blockchain, whether it is robotics, or whether it is augmented and virtual reality, whether it is pattern processing, or all these technologies that are surrounding us, becoming affordable, getting more advanced, and you are able to leverage innovation at the doorstep, at grassroots, because of the internet. You see, the cost of communication has come down dramatically because of whatever has happened in the world. The cost of collaboration, therefore, has come down dramatically. The cost of distribution and the cost of marketing has therefore come down even more dramatically. As a result, the cost of innovation has become zero. And in such an environment, in such a vibrant environment in which every one of you are here, you cannot think of yourself just as job seekers. You have to think of yourselves as, how can I be the next innovator? How can I be the next job creator? How can I be the next entrepreneur? And gender has no place in this. Women or men have no place in this. Technology is the great leveler that has enabled everyone to realize their dream. And so we are all living in a remarkable world. A world full of challenges because of technology changing the landscape, but a world full of opportunities. If India is a country with 1.3 billion and you have 1 million challenges, every challenge is an opportunity for us to leverage and to grow our economy and our society. And therefore, the ATAL Innovation Mission is launching thousands of ATAL tinkering labs across the country in schools, where every student between grade 6 to grade 12 has the opportunity to tinker with the latest of technologies like 3D printers, robotics, IoT devices, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, and all of this. They tinker with them. They play with them. They're not given marks in order to play with them. They are asked to innovate. They are asked to identify problems in their community. They are asked to solve and create prototypes of solutions using these technologies. It has had a fantastic response. Those of you who are familiar with ATAL Tinkering Labs or visited one. We have selected 5,441 labs across the country. 2,000 of them are operational, all in this last 1 year. We are launched thousands of ATAL Tinkering Challenges and ATAL Tinkering Marathons. In the last Tinkering Marathon that we held, 40,000 students participated across the country from 650 plus districts. Those of you who are not aware of the geography of India, we have 715 districts in this country, 32 states, 9 union territories. From these, students from the most rural of economy and from the tier 2, tier 3 cities participated and created 6,000 plus innovations. Innovations that meant to them something. Irrigation management. How do you solve irrigation management using IoT devices? How do you solve waste management using robotics? How do you solve smart agriculture using precision agriculture or IoT or drone-based technologies? Technologies which meant something to them because they are facing the problem every day. The girl who created an IoT-based irrigation management system, her father is a farmer who finds this problem every day and who is dealing with a farm where he is unfortunately not able to find enough water or the crops to have the right yield. So what we are doing is triggering a problem-solving, innovative mindset through these tinkering labs in thousands of schools. Now I need to share some remarkable fact about this. In the recently held marathon that I said, where the 6,000 innovations got created, 600 got entered into the finals and the top 100 were selected, 33% of the winners were women. So a big hand to all the girls and the women. Now why is this number remarkable? This number is remarkable because you don't have 50% of the schools still populated with girls. And even though they are not populated, 50% of the school children are not girl children, because many girls don't go to schools or they drop out or they're not sent to schools, you have 33% of the winners as women. So what it revealed to us is girls take to technology much faster and much better than boys. I don't know what the reasons are. Maybe they are, of course, we know that women are more detail-oriented, they have the capability of multitasking. They have the capability of reaching out, collaborating far better than boys do. And I guess that plays in technology too. I do not know how many of you are aware that there is now in Saudi Arabia, in a country like Saudi Arabia, a completely women-operated BPO center which has been set by TCS and which is serving call center and BPO for all the multinationals in Saudi Arabia. If in a country like Saudi Arabia, where we know women have not found gender equality in many areas, you still have a fully empowered, more than 800 women-based BPO and call center, why can't we do the same in India? Why can't we create entrepreneurs in India of a much bigger magnitude in a country where women and men have stood on an equal pedestal from our mythological ages? We have Shiva and Shakti. There is no Shiva who is possible to do anything in this world without Shakti. You have Krishna, Vishnu and Lakshmi. Even our goddesses have been raised to the highest pedestal. But we do have a societal gap and a mindset created over the years of how do we ensure gender equality and how do we ensure women entrepreneurs to come to the fore. So this is a challenge in front of us. I don't know how many of you are aware also that 34% of our entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs today, are in the agricultural field. Another 30% are in manufacturing. And about 14% are in retail. But we do have many more areas to cover. Of the number of women entrepreneurs in this country, only 5 states account for 50% of the women entrepreneurs. Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, and Maharashtra. So more than 50% of the entrepreneurs out of the 32 states come from 5 states. So that is a huge opportunity for us. Because if women become part of the entrepreneurial world and the economy, imagine the impact it will have on the economy. There is a study which has been done which says that more than 60% growth in economy will happen when women entrepreneurs become part of the mainstream of Indian entrepreneurship. So the ATAL Tinkering Labs, the first step towards creating innovative women. The next thing is the ATAL incubators. We are setting up world-class incubators across the country. And NMIMS has been selected to set up a world-class incubator. Why do we need a world-class incubator? We have thousands of startups mushrooming in this country. But many startups go through valleys of death, as they call. Valleys of death because they fail when you do not have the right type of support for mentoring, for venture capital, for business planning and strategy, for hiring, for various issues which they face. A good idea doesn't necessarily result in a good product and a good company. It has to be supported and enabled and empowered at various stages. And that is where these world-class incubators will come to support these startups to succeed. We are setting up 101 ATAL incubators before the end of next year. 20 of them are already operational. And more than 500 startups have started from these 20 which are operational. I'm very happy to say that 2 of our incubators, one is a women-led incubator from AIC Banastali, which is one of the largest women universities in the country and one of the largest in Asia. And they have already launched 28 women-led startups. Another incubator of ours, which is the ATAL incubator in ALC, the Access Livelihood Consulting, has just in the last year spawned 6,000 women entrepreneurs out of the incubator that they have set up in Telangana. So that is the power of an incubator spawning very successful entrepreneurs and making the startup succeed. The third intervention that the ATAL Innovation Mission is doing is launching thousands of challenges in partnership with others as well as in partnership with the ministries. We have launched what are known as ATAL New India Challenges to stimulate product innovations that can have national or social impact. 24 challenges have been launched in the last year, have been launched this year, along with 5 ministries, the Ministry of Urban Housing, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Rail, and Ministry of Transportation. We are going to be launching another 26 challenges to stimulate product innovations. See, on one side, you need to stimulate innovation. The next thing is you have to establish an ecosystem of entrepreneurship. And the third is you have to create products which will avail themselves of commercial and social possibilities and commercial and social impact. There are many other plans that ATAL Innovation Mission has in place. But none of these are going to succeed without partnerships, without collaborations, with the academia, with mentors, with investment capital, and so on. So to boost this, we have also set up a Mentors of Change, Mentor India network across the country, where 5,000 mentors have registered themselves voluntarily for mentoring ATAL Tinkering Labs, ATAL incubators, women-led entrepreneurships, women-led incubators, and so on. We need every lady here, every woman who has had the benefit of an education to become part of the women-led entrepreneurial movement. And of course, Anna Roy will talk to you much more about that because she's spearheading the whole thing from Niti Aayog. And it has had a wonderful response so far. But we need the 50% of the women in this country to embrace the growth possibilities that this country is offering. Because anything that you solve in India is a solution for the rest of the world. When 1.3 billion people are affected by a solution, you can imagine 7 billion people on the planet getting affected and getting benefits from the solutions that are created. So there is no dearth of innovators and women innovators in the country or in the world. I mean, look at the world today. You look at all the technology companies, they are led by women. You have Mary Barra leading GM. You have IBM being led by Ginny Rometty. You have Indira Nooyi leading Pepsi. You have Meg Whitman leading HP. I mean, women are really occupying the traditional bastions that men were occupying and doing a splendid job. So it doesn't mean that the men have to stop working or worrying about all this. I think the men have equal opportunities or more right now as things stand. But I do think this NMIMS-led initiative, both in terms of an ATAL incubator being set up to spawn startups, world-class startups, and to spawn women entrepreneurs, is something that is the call of the times. I do wish the organization, the university, and every one of you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your truly inspiring words. The second initiative that is being inaugurated today is the Women Entrepreneurship Platform of Niti Aayog. On this special occasion, we have with us Ms. Anna Roy, the woman who is leading the Women Entrepreneurship Initiative. An economist by training, Ms. Roy is a postgraduate from Delhi School of Economics and an economics honors from SRCC. She worked as a lecturer in Delhi University and research associate in TERI before joining the Indian Economic Services for the Government of India. Within the government, she has worked in various senior capacities in the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Civil Aviation. She is currently working as an advisor and head of department, Industry, Data Management and Analysis in Niti Aayog. She heads the Women Entrepreneurship Platform launched by Niti Aayog. She also leads the Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain Initiative of Niti Aayog. She has an experience in a wide range of subjects in infrastructure, PPPs, and banking sectors. We request you, ma'am, to share a few words with us.
Good afternoon, dignitaries on the dais and friends and colleagues in the audience. First of all, I would like to thank the management of NMIMS, sorry, a bit of a tongue twister, for hosting this event and giving us this opportunity to be amongst all you young, energetic people. I would also like to thank Mr. Ramanan to have agreed to launch the ATAL Incubation Center today along with the WEP, which gives us that added momentum. So thanks also to all you people who have come in such large numbers to join efforts of this initiative. I'm truly, truly happy to be amongst you and to kind of start our journey with this such a positive note. So thank you, everybody. That was a very good piece you said, Mr. Ramanan. Now I know if I need a spokesperson for WEP where I should turn, and I will not be, short of people within NITI to take the entire initiative forward. Since he has already told you everything about, women entrepreneurship, I think, and so beautifully, what I'll do is to briefly tell you about the nature of this initiative and the way forward. So this was, as it was mentioned initially, when we concluded the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, where the underlying theme was Women First, Prosperity for All. More than 50% delegates from all over the country, including India, were women. So our CEO, our very, very dynamic CEO, Mr. Amitabh Kant, when he was interacting with the delegates, he realized that there was some information asymmetry in the system because everybody was asking for some kind of a help or information relating to entrepreneurship. So at the conclusion of the summit, in the press conference, he announced that NITI will set up a women entrepreneurship cell. And I happened to be sitting next to him on the dais when that press conference was happening, and so he mentioned, I will be heading that cell. So that was by accident, but I took the challenge very seriously and started working on it. The more we examined the situation, the more we came to the conclusion we certainly don't need another cell in the government. That was and as days passed, that thought became very firm, and we realized that in this country so much is happening within this ecosystem, and all that is required is to consolidate these efforts at one place and address the information asymmetry that presently exists. So we changed the name from WEC, that is Women Entrepreneurship Cell, to Women Entrepreneurship Platform, WEP. The platform basically presents a single point where our endeavor is to bring in all initiatives, whether small, whether big, which have been launched by the central government, by the state government, by the academic institutes, by the corporates, by the international organizations like UNDP, World Bank, ADB, etc. Also to kind of enable partner connects where two partners can, they can work together, thinking that, their initiatives will match each other and they complement each other. And also allow this platform to, provide this information to the wider audience who today are not able to access this information very well, even though they may be very, very, internet literate and very, very internet savvy people. So that was the first step which we took, and we set up a platform which is very basic today. But I'm happy to share with you that we have already, in the last leg of finalizing the vendor who will develop a state-of-the-art machine learning AI-based platform which will do online matchmaking. So when you come on the platform, you are not kind of bombarded by all kinds of information. Only the information which is pertaining to your field, which you yourself will, while registering, will be, taken to you. And that is what we feel that would be the first good thing which we will do, because in all government website that user, access and the user experience is not very good. So that was one of the aims. My colleague Molishri is also here, and I'll ask Molishri to interact with all of you at the end of this event. I have brought her here specifically to kind of, share this information with all you students, and I have been urging her and my other two very dynamic interns who are here with me. All three of them will be there amongst you to address all your doubts about the platform. So once you register, what does it do? Please don't expect a magic that today you will say, I need funding, and tomorrow somebody will come and hold your hand and say, here are the funds. You may not even benefit from it, but you will be adding a lot of value by registering and by sharing what your needs are. Because based on your registration and the registration by all other women who are either aspiring to be entrepreneurs or are existing entrepreneurs and looking for scaling up, to capture their requirements, and through data analytics to tell us what are the various areas where we need to go and look for partners to be with us on the platform. So it is a little bit of a chicken and egg, whether we should get the partners first and the applicants will come later, or the other way around. We feel the second option is better. So today's event is the first such event where we reach out to the community, to the ecosystem, to take our message to you that please come and register, indicate your aspirations, your requirements, and based on that, we'll go back and get the relevant partners to come on the platform and help you out. Some of the initial partners who started off when we began this journey was CRISIL. CRISIL, initially they came out with a very basic kind of a background check, because as you all are, most of you will be commerce students, credit rating comes at a very late stage. But we were not kind of looking at either high tech or any particular part of the entrepreneur ecosystem, but the entire spectrum. And we wanted to capture those also who are just starting off. So CRISIL has come out with this very innovative background check, where they will just do a check on whatever information is submitted and will give a green tick. So that's the first small step. Second, from there, we are working with CRISIL, and now with Mr. Ashwini Kumar, who is working on the finance vertical, we'll be working with CRISIL to come out more innovative tools where they will be able to, tell you what are the problems with your business model and where do you need to work. That will also help us to have more guided and targeted mentoring rather than a general kind of a mentoring. So we are trying to approach the entire subject in a very scientific manner, and as our Honorable Prime Minister says, trying to have an evidence-based approach, where we will use the data to bring out the measures which will address the concerns. So that is one part. The second thing, though we don't have a very developed website, but still we have made real inroads. One of the incubators sought applications on our web portal, and out of the 40 selected pan-India, out of 600 applications they received, 8 were from the registered users of WEP. And many of the women who were selected, wrote back to us saying that, but for this platform, we would not have been aware that some such thing is happening. So I think we are already making, in very small steps, making some progress. And it is really with the help of all of you that we can really, progress much rapidly. Today's event, though the platform was launched on 8th of March, but today's event is important because this is the first offline initiative of WEP to reach out to the community and do an outreach and inform you about the platform and seek all of you to come and register and be partners. I will call you partners because it will be your effort and your perseverance and your patience which will actually, in times to come, see this platform really flourish. So that's why today's event is so important, and I'm so happy that it could be coupled with the ATAL Innovation Center, because that also nurtures innovation. And together, I think if both the things are kind of piloted in this institute together, I think it will really help in addressing the issue that is at hand. I'm also very happy to learn from what Dr. Saxena said, that this institute has a course on women entrepreneurship, and it also has centers on women entrepreneurship. So all this is extremely encouraging for us. And this is, I call you partners because this initiative is, in a truest sense, a public-private partnership, where when we began our journey, we did not have, any in-house officers supporting us. I was the only one from NITI, apart from some YPs, young professionals who can't say no to me because they work under me. But we did have people like Shom Datta, who will be there in the next session, Namita Thapar, who will be there, and many such other people who have given private time and effort, and many of them are not here today with us, but they are all there working with us. Mr. Ashwini Kumar, he also is a former colleague, so couldn't say no. So I'll discount his effort there. But these are the kind of people who are taking out time and effort from their private space to work for this platform. So it is in the truest form, it is a public-private partnership, and for the success of this initiative, I think all your support will be highly crucial. So please spread the word, get more and more people to register, go back to your family, friends in other institutes. We will also try to go to other institutes and take this word forward. But please be our ambassadors, please be our volunteers, give us suggestions. We have a very committed team of people working, a small but very committed team, and give us your suggestions. We'll try to kind of address that and take this entire thing forward. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Those words were truly motivational. Now to talk about the journey of ATAL Incubational Center at NMIMS and the facilities it provides, I would like to invite Mr. Harshal Shah to share his thoughts with us. Mr. Shah is currently the CEO of AIC-NMIMS Incubation Center. By profession, he is a trained lawyer and a chartered accountant. He has pursued his master's in law from Harvard Law School and his legal education from Government Law College, Mumbai. He is a member of the New York State Bar Association, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa. He is also a mentor at Kirit P. Mehta School of Law, one of India's premier private legal law institutes, founded under the banner of NMIMS. He is also the founder of NMIMS's Chancellor's Challenge, which aims on developing and nurturing entrepreneurship among the students of SBKM Group of Institutes. We invite you, sir, to come and share a few words with us. Thank you.
Respected members of the panel, respected Ramanan sir, Ms. Roy, Dr. Maiskar, the panelists who are going to be speaking after we are done. Firstly, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm not sure I am qualified or worthy enough to really share this particular space with everyone over here. Though I want to start off by saying a very simple thing. There are so many young students over here, and I always see myself as a student, that there is just one thing for a startup. And that is, each and every one underestimates a startup. That's the only universal rule, and that's the only universal rule you guys should go by. With this, I'll share with you a story which I've heard. When Book My Show was launched, when they were launching, it was around 1.5 years from their launch. They really thought, all the founders really thought that they've come out with this really cool idea. It's going to change the way booking is done, booking of movie tickets is done. We know where Book My Show is now, but at that point of time, it was just a startup. The founder overheard a conversation of his mother. So the mother was talking to her best friend, कि आपका बेटा करता क्या है? So the mother responded, नहीं पूरा दिन कंप्यूटर पे बैठा रहता है, पता नहीं क्या करता है, मगर वो जो आप वो मूवी के बाहर वो ब्लैक टिकट देखते हो ना, वो ऑनलाइन करता है. That's how startup is. And I always go, for a young startup, I always go with this one test, which is called the mom's test. My mom is here in the audience, so after this I'm going to get a real mouthful. But the mom's test is as follows. Pitch an idea to your mom. If your mom thinks it's going to work, don't pursue it. No, and that's true, because that if your mom knows what you're doing, you're not thinking enough. That's not where the trend is going to go, trust me. So, then moving on to another really interesting story. When we were building up, Ramanan sir, you would be very interested to know that when we were building up this incubation center over here, I met a very senior person in the organization, and I took 20 minutes to make my whole pitch as to how this incubation center is going to change the face of NMIMS. We're going to have this young pool of talent coming over here. They're going to be, as we can see over here, they're going to be coming over here. There'll be so much innovation. There will entrepreneurship. The Gujarati name will really come up, which we are known for. He turns around and I really thought that, he's really hooked on. I've made my pitch. This is the real thing. He's like, Harshal, you're doing a very noble cause. I'm like, I've hit it. This is the thing. I've really hit it. He's understood. He's like, these babies will really benefit. The poor babies over there are going to really benefit from this. He thought the incubation center is going to be housing babies. He mixed the incubation center to the incubation center of a hospital. And that's how startups get underestimated. We are a startup. We are a startup in this campus which has 40,000 students over here. We are a small startup of 3 people who are trying to push the envelope, trying to make the university go to the next level. As a university, one of the strongest challenges that we have, and Maiskar sir will agree with me, would be that we tend to only create job seekers. No one wants to create job creators. When you guys will actually go, all you'll really care about in the 5th year would be placements. Kisko kaun sa package mila, kisko kya mila, that's all you'll be chasing. I've done that, so meaning I shouldn't be saying that you guys are wrong in doing what you're doing, but it took an education to a foreign university. I spent a considerable amount of money, and after that realized that that's not what I should be doing. So if you want to save the $100,000 that you will spend in a foreign university, the simple question will be just this. Stop being job seekers. There are enough people who are going to be chasing that particular job. Be job creators. Create jobs. think different, think out of the box. That's really the future, and that's what's going to happen. Now, what does an incubator really mean to a university? I really feel it's a symbiotic relationship. This has been my pitch throughout, so meaning many of you may have even heard it, but to a university, an incubation center enables students to first change their mindset. From the point of view of the students, this is the best thing that can happen, right? Because you guys will really be pushed. If you want to do something these 5 years, I'm talking from a School of Law point of view, since I'm dealing with them so much, but what will happen is in the 5 years which you are here, or in the 3 years, 2 years, whatever may be, that's the best time for you to explore. Don't be afraid. Don't chase marks. Marks has not got one anywhere, right? I know as a university we can't say that, but don't chase marks. So I would really pursue you to follow your passion, to follow your dreams. I can see that there are a lot of faculties in the audience, and I have one real sincere request to each and every faculty. Don't burst their bubble. You know, just like that person burst my bubble with the incubation story. Don't burst their bubble. Allow the students to dream. Allow their students to think that if someone would have asked me that after 2 years, you know, we'd be having an incubation center with a packed audience, I would say you're joking. There's no chance this can ever happen. But yes, it did take a long time to do this. But yes, you know, after this struggle, we are here. So as a faculty, please encourage them that it's okay to be different. There's nothing wrong. As in, it's different people who then come out with, let them follow their passion, let them follow innovation, let them follow entrepreneurship, because that's the future. And that's what we as an institution should be teaching. So I want to talk a little bit about the incubation center. The first is that all of you will have access to the state-of-the-art facilities that you can ever imagine. Whether it is meeting room, conference room, con calls, any kind of thing which an office environment offers you, you will have access to that. That's first. Second, we have set up thinking pads where you come, put your legs up and dream. That's all we'll want you to do. Come out with the next big things, come out with the next big ideas, challenge. Come out with the problems, understand, identify the problems and dream. That's what we want. Access to capital, access to any facilities on campus. We have all the deans over here, and they have all assured us that any kind of facility which is there on campus, a person which is getting incubated will have direct access to. So there's no limit as far as the idea goes. Second is the ecosystem which NMIMS has created. There are 50,000 students which come here every single year. The access to these students, or these access to you guys sitting over here, is something which no other university can match. The possibility that if you are an entrepreneur and if you have an idea, the access to any kind of skill set, whether it is developing a website, whether it is coming out with the latest data analytical technique, whether it's access to Bloomberg terminals, access to marketing databases, everything is available here. All we will want is just 3 things: idea, passion, and patience. The third is the most important. There will be many people who come out with ideas. There are many people who have the passion to pursue that idea. But as Sir said, it is the patience. It's patience which is the key to believe and to continue believing in what you're really pursuing, which is essentially the key. Last thing I would like to end on this particular note, that when we had started off thinking about the incubation center and all of that, we are a startup. So no good startup is without a vision. The only difference over here was, you would have imagined all the stories that you've seen on Shark Tank and all. Usual setup is that there are two school friends who meet after 10 years, come back over a bottle of beer, they come out with the next big idea. The only difference over here for us was firstly, it was not beer, it was a cup of coffee, and it was not with an old friend, but it was with the Vice Chancellor. And what he told me is something that, the vision that he gave me was, Harshal, you should make this street the next Silicon Valley. And that's our vision. It seems really far-fetched at this point of time, but nothing is impossible. The last thing that I would like to say, that I would really like to thank the entire incubation team who's worked relentlessly to make this particular possible. So Roshan, Poonam, Nandini, Tanay, Anuja, Neena ma'am, and the entire NMIMS family. With this, thank you so much. And
thank you, sir, for your kind words. The budding entrepreneurs in the audience are now aware of the facilities that the Incubation Center provides, and I am sure that that will help us in our future endeavors.
We would now like to move on to the next part of the event, which is the panel discussion. Joining us today are these multi-talented panelists, including Ms. Anna Roy, the advisor, Niti Aayog, leading WEP initiative, Mr. R. Ramanan, Mission Director, ATAL Innovation Mission, Mr. Ashwini Kumar, Head, WEP Finance Vertical, Ms. Namta Thapar, Executive Director, MCure Pharmaceuticals, Ms. Ashu Suyash, MD and CEO, Chrysal, Ms. Jyoti Sudhir, Chairwoman, CII, IWN Gujarat Chapter. I would like the panelists to join us on the stage, and I would ask Mr. Harshal Shah to felicitate them. Moderating this panel discussion, we have Dr. Somdat Singh. Dr. Somdat is a serial entrepreneur and an angel investor. She is also the Vice Chairperson of NASSCOM.Product Council, a mentor at NASSCOM 10K, Microsoft Target Accelerator Program, IIDT, Andhra Pradesh Government, and now a mentor of change at IAM. She is currently also on the advisory board of the Karnataka BizTech ITBT Ministry, co-trustee and director at Center for Entrepreneurial Excellence, CEE, and Digital Leadership Institute, founder of IRA, a crowdsourced fashion label, and founder, CEO at Unspun Group, one of India's first technology-based marketing solution companies. Dr. Som is also on the advisory board for Bloomberg Quint and a multi-TEDx speaker. We welcome you all for the panel discussion.
Wow. Nothing like a packed hall where you see a lot of women, and like Ramanan sir said, it's a treat to the eyes. Very good afternoon to all of you present here today. That's nice. I know you guys are still awake after the lunch, right? Sometimes we take a little bit of power nap. It happens, right? So I think, it was a power-packed, beginning to the session that we had, where we heard some really riveting speeches from Ramanan sir, from Anna ma'am, and the dignitaries on stage. Well, taking this panel discussion forward, let me take the opportunity to introduce the other dignitaries that we have on stage today, starting with Namita. I think she's right there. Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm getting to know them. Sure. Okay, that's okay. So we have one less person. So let me introduce Namita. It's nothing like getting an opportunity to introduce a riveting woman, who's leading such a big institution. So just a quick one. Namita is the executive director at MCure Pharmaceuticals, which is a global pharmaceutical company headquartered in Pune, with a turnover of 4,500 crores. So all of the aspiring budding women entrepreneurs here, a big round of applause. She was also awarded the Economic Times 40 Under 40, amongst many other accolades that she has to her, kitty. She's a chartered accountant from ICAI and an MBA from Fuqua School of Business. Prior to joining MCure, she has worked in US for 6 years in various roles in finance and marketing. In addition, she's on the board of Finolex Cables, as well as on the board of Fuqua School of Business, which is a part of Duke University. Like I mentioned, Namita has been the recipient of the prestigious Economic Times 40 Under 40 Award. She's also a part of the Champions of Change program, which is initiated and headed by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. She also enjoys taking up speaking, teaching, and writing assignments. Namita is married to Vic and have 2 lovely children. Welcome to Namita again. The next panelist I have with me is Ashu Shuyas. Let me take the opportunity to introduce Ashu quickly. She is the head of CRISIL Domestic and Global Businesses, steering its effort to deliver really high-quality analytics, opinions, solutions to a wide range of clients, from small companies to large institutions. Under her leadership, CRISIL has strengthened existing business portfolios, enhanced its customer value proposition, and creating intellectual properties. She has nearly 30 years of experience in financial services industry. Prior to CRISIL, she served as the Chief Executive Officer of L&T Investment Management Limited and L&T Capital Markets. She led Fidelity's Indian mutual fund business from 2003 to 2012. Over the years, Ms. Shuyas has been recognized among the top 50 women in business in India, Asia by various publications. She's a chartered accountant and holds a bachelor's degree in commerce. She has keen interest in education sector and is on the advisory board of the Chartered Institute for Securities and Investments and on the board of studies for NMIMS and NM College, and also on the advisory board of Asima Charitable Trust, and an NGO that provides education to underprivileged children. What an honor to have you with us. Next on the panel is Ms. Jyoti Sudhir. She is the Director of Invest India Innovations, a master franchisee owner, and an image consulting business institute. Jyoti masters in human development from the prestigious Lady Irwin College, Delhi University, specializes in devising high impact, cohesive external and internal communication strategies. Jyoti is also internationally certified professional empowerment life coach, accredited and recognized by the Certified Coaches Alliance of Canada. She helps organizations and individuals differentiate in a crowded space by combining best practices and experiences. She's currently the director of Invent India Innovations Private Limited. Jyoti has a rich experience of 15 plus in leadership, in team management, across segments like health, education, media, design, and finance. A very warm welcome to you, Jyoti. Well, like they say, you know, while behind all successful men there is a woman, no woman is complete without a man on the panel. So, sir, what an honor to have you with us. Well, a big round of applause for Ashwini, sir. Well, he needs little introduction, but I'll take the opportunity to introduce him. Mr. Ashwini Kumar is currently the head of Women Entrepreneurship Platform Finance Vertical. He has been the chairman and managing director of Dena Bank, the chairman of Indian Banking Association, board member of Life Insurance Corporation of India, President, Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, Chairman of Indian Institute of Banking and Professional Selection. He's a certified associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers from Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. He has a Master's of Science, a degree from Lucknow University, a Kellogg School of Management, Chicago, National Institute of Bank Management, India, Jawaharlal Nehru University of Development and Banking. Sir, what a great profile. Thank you so much, and we are hoping that you're going to be shedding, or rather balancing this conversation with us today. Well, already, you know, you've already had a great introduction to Ramanan sir and Anna Roy ma'am. As you know, Anna Roy ma'am is the advisor on the Niti Aayog board, and Ramanan sir is the director mission for ATAL Innovation Mission. Well, when I was entrusted with this responsibility of moderating such a coveted panel, there is something that came to my mind, and I want to share with you guys. So, I come from a family of doctors. Both my parents are doctors. And even now, my dad introduces me as the fake doctor of the family. Yes, it's the truth. I actually ran away from home. I'm the only child. I ran away from home because I couldn't even do a dissection properly. How could I become a doctor? I knew it was not meant for me. A lot of times, a lot of people say that, you know, it's that feeling of being held on to something that stops you from becoming an entrepreneur. Right? It is a feeling that somebody is guiding you and telling you something to do that stops you from becoming an entrepreneur. I don't encourage you guys to run away from home. I hope none of you have, right? Okay, don't. if you have the opportunity not to, then don't. It's great to convince your parents. My parents were hard nuts to crack. But the thing is, the only thing that differentiates someone from becoming a business person, entrepreneurship is a very fancy word, is the ability to say that the risk is vital, but I'm capable of taking it. There's a beautiful shloka in Yajurveda, and a lot of people, like Ramanand has said, a lot of people don't know that out of the 3,500 Vedic hymns we have, over 60% of them is dedicated to women. It starts, the first shloka of Rig Veda starts with an invocation to Shakti. The first shloka of Yajurveda starts like this. Strihi Brahma Bahuvit, which means women is the ultimate creator. Shakti is the basis, the foundation of the enunciation to something. Is why whenever you do an invocation to Shakti or to Saraswati or to Lakshmi. Very rarely you'll see an invocation to Vishnu or to Shiva. Because they say, even the definition of Shiva, he's an Ardha Narishwar, which means the Nari comes first. So all the women in the audience, if you thought the word woman means to woo a man, it means a womb plus a man. So the role of a woman is to create, nurture, nourish. So we are indefinitely given the power to create something. I don't know why we need empowerment. I think empowerment is a very, big word that is used. I'm like, if you have the power to give life, if 9 months you can compromise on your life and carry a life in your womb, nourish it, nurture it, then how big it is a deal to create something of your own or to start a business? The funny thing is we often make business we say business is like tech-driven only or maybe something fancy. But like Ramanand sir said, most of the women entrepreneurs today, 30% of them are in the segment of agriculture. 15% are artisans. 30% is in manufacturing. So even if you make a bangle and can sell, why not? If some of you are great designers and you have such a big audience, and if you can sell clothes that you can make for your fellow students, why not? It is not about the label to the business. It is about the way to enunciate it, to create something. So with that in mind, when we look at the Indian demographic, and like Anna ma'am and Ramanand sir said, we constitute 50% of the population. And we are responsible for the remaining 52. It comes out of us, right? So with that in mind, why do we have to be just 13.75% of the total entrepreneurship segment? But the 13.75% out of the 58.5 million entrepreneurs we have in India contribute to 64 million jobs. Now let's do the math. Let's say another 32% was empowered instead of the 13, which has the capacity of creating 15.5 million small businesses. It will lead to 64 more million jobs. So with that kind of statistics in mind, I think the revolution is already taking place. It's just that we need to build the momentum. So starting with, why I want to pose my first question to Ashwini sir is, when we look at the statistics, one of the biggest hindrances that study which was done by the MasterCard Women Entrepreneurship Index talks about is that the reason women do not often start up is because the financial insecurity that they have, or the worry that they will not get the money because they will be looked at as an inferior sex. And that is not, I think, is a woman challenge, it's a generic challenge. To raise money, to start something, where do I get it? So my first question to you, Ashwini sir, today. You leading the Women Entrepreneurship Platform, trying to bring this revolution to the forefront, trying to create a larger share of women entrepreneurs from the 13.5 to, let's say, 32%. How do we combat the financial inclusion, the financial viability challenge? So I'll start with you, sir.
Thank you very much. Regarding finance to women as such, in fact, getting initial finance is difficult, whether it's men or women. When you go to a bank, a number of queries are raised. But if you study the whole thing, then you find that either the project is incomplete or the information with the entrepreneur is incomplete, or forward linkages, backward linkages are not there. So to meet those challenges, what WEP is doing, We are tying up with NBFCs and financial institutions, 3 partnerships we have already done with India Bull, Shri Finance and Seva Bank. And we're looking for more partners. CRISIL is also a partner where we would be providing the entrepreneurs with a basic requirement which a bank has. So with that checklist is there, and the rating, initial screening rating is done through CRISIL. We'll be approaching the banks that if an entrepreneur is rated, say, BBB or A by CRISIL, then the banks will help them in getting finance. So that is a challenge for which we are working with various partners. We'll be approaching banks also to see that if there is an entrepreneur, she does not suffer on lack of finance. That is the initial finance. We are also working with other partners who can provide them with the seed capital, then provide them with regular line of credit, growth capital. So we are working and partnering with them. And once we partner and you register on our platform of WEP and you raise certain issues that will be addressed by the partner who is looking after seed capital or who is looking after long-term finance or who is looking after working capital.
So you're saying through the platform, just to summarize that, while CRISIL is going to facilitate through the rating process, given that multiple financial institutions are tying up with us, it will enable a better access and a better format for women to actually apply and get these, loans or grants. Right, so these young students who are here today, Ashwini sir, just to kind of, take forward from what you said, if they are starting up, now they not necessarily have the, right kind of financial, backing right now, may not be earning, what would be the 1 or 2 things you would suggest them to keep in mind so that they are building up to that next step?
No, once you want to be an entrepreneur, first thing is you should know your business, what you're going to do, what are the requirements which you have, both say from the backward linkages, from raw material to finished goods to work in process. You should have the knowledge of the whole business, but when we interact with people, they don't have, they stop at a particular way. Sir, marketing ka to pata nahi. So if you produce something and you're not able to market, what happens to your production? Or if you produce things not of the same quality, some product is X quality, some product is Y quality, so it does not sell. So for that we are saying that we will be, once they register on the WEP portal with their product, automatically they will find a backward linkage, they will find a forward linkage. If they need hand-holding support will also be provided. We are also looking at companies who are ready to provide hand-holding to the entrepreneurs. So with that ecosystem in place, say somebody wants to do something in pharmaceutical,
right,
and Namita is a partner, they can hand-hold her and tell what is the requirement, what are the pitfalls.
Absolutely.
So those pitfalls we are trying to cover.
Absolutely. I think that brings me, thank you so much, sir, for shedding light on those 2 aspects. That brings me to Namita. Namita, you've had, a very, very dynamic career, right? At a very young age, you accomplished a lot. And often it is so looked at that women find it very difficult to hold senior positions in organization, specifically when it's a male-dominated bastion. So how do you break that glass ceiling, firstly? The second thing that I would like you to talk about, because we have such, young audience who are aspirants, either looking to be in important positions in organizations or starting off on their own. 2 or 3 learnings of yours, which can play an important role as a guidance for them. If you can shed some light on that as well.
Sure. Thank you firstly for your kind words, and love speaking at such platforms because I'm personally very passionate about women causes and women entrepreneurship. So just some statistics that I want to share with you. 32 out of 500, Fortune 500 companies, only 32 have women CEOs. In India, out of the BSE 500 companies, 8 have women CEOs. So obviously we have a very long way to go. Last year, we saw that the labor participation, the female labor participation in the workforce dropped from 37% to 27%. I mean, all these numbers are absolutely shocking. There's a Niti Aayog paper, an action agenda for 3 years, which says that we can increase our GDP by 300 billion, right, Anna? If we have more women participate. So obviously, gender inequality, women breaking the class ceiling, are very, very important issues right now.
there is a ray of hope. So for example, in addition to my pharma, on weekends, I run a program, entrepreneurship program for 11 to 18-year-olds. It's a US franchise that's in 6 cities. We have 250 students, and 42% are women. So I think that's fantastic, right? It makes you optimistic of the times to come. If 42% of my 250 students are women, and most of them are winning prizes, like you said, 1/3 won prizes in your case. Same here, probably 50%. So there is a ray of hope for sure, but a lot of cultural changes are needed. A lot of support is needed in companies to really up these numbers. So at MCure, for example, we just completed 5 years of a program. It's an HR initiative for women called Prerna. What we do is we have very inspiring women speakers come and speak to our ladies. We have networking lunches where there's a lot of exchange of candid, honest feedback with women leaders. Our recruiting policy is such that our HR team has been told that for every vacancy, have a disproportionate number of women resumes sent, so the odds of picking up women is higher. In addition, it's a fact of life that there are times in a woman's career span that you do need flexibility. True. And a company has to appreciate that if they want low attrition and stability in women. Sure. And we've made sure that we have these policies in place. So we've gone from 8%, because pharma is typically manufacturing based. It's not like IT or banking, which is a higher percent of women. And so we've gone from 8% to 20% in a span of 5 years just through Prerna program. So I think a lot of companies can have these kind of HR programs to help women. Right. And I won't take too long, but just you said if you have some advice, of course, for the women here. So I will like to give some advice because I've been a victim of it myself. This is my favorite quotable quote that women are excellent at time management. Raman sir himself said we're great multitaskers. We're excellent at time management, but we are terrible at guilt management. So I think we women, if we really want to unleash our productivity, we need to get good at managing our guilt. So if you're working, don't feel guilty about missing your child's PTA meeting. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, have pride and don't feel guilty that you wasted your education. I think you just have to make the best of your situation. The second piece of advice is men are excellent at marketing themselves. Whereas women always feel, oh, our work will speak, our action will speak for itself. And I don't believe in that. I think do a good job. My father told me till you don't get your CA degree, till you don't become an MBA, don't work for 6 years and a company actually pays you for 6 years. If I find you competent, you come back and join my business. So yes, competency is very important. Working hard is very important, but learn to market yourself and learn to say, hey, I did this. Most importantly, we don't speak up enough. So I've seen so many male colleagues, very confidently go and say, I need a higher raise or I deserve this promotion. But women always hold back. So I think, of course, there are societal pressures, but a lot of times women limit themselves, whether it is through guilt, whether it is not marketing themselves enough, or then whether it is not speaking up enough. And so my one advice is, learn to be assertive, learn to manage your guilt, learn to speak up for whatever it's worth. Thank you.
That's a great piece of advice. I think, one of the things which came out very clearly while you were articulating, the confidence, the support, the focus, and your ability to perceive and take something forward comes a lot with the support from the family.
Absolutely.
I think it's very important, right? Like while we have our gurus in the audience who are our extended family who guide you and tell you, what should be your future, it's very important if there are any parents in the audience that you allow and understand and nourish and nurture, what your kids really want to do. And with that in mind, Anna ma'am, I want to come to you. You have broken, and this is absolutely not just from a WP standpoint, but you've broken many glass ceilings, right? You've been driving things which is often perceived to be the so-called men's, formidable, areas. As not only the head of WEP as a women entrepreneurship platform leader, but also in terms of driving some of the initiatives, whether it's AI, whether it's blockchain, where people say that, it's entirely a men-dominated area. What are you doing? What are you thinking? How should women come forward to take some of these things forward? What should be the women's role? And thereby, how can we harvest and foster entrepreneurship in this country?
One thing which I would like to say, me being a bureaucrat, and there are certain norms in bureaucracy, you have to kind of comply with that. Having said that, I feel what Namita said, I really I fully support that. No matter what you do, take pride in your work. Don't, the grass is always greener on the other side. And even within the bureaucracy, we do get victimized because perhaps you did not do something right with the boss, and things get taken away. So without naming the instance, I would like to narrate something which happened with me, that I was considered to be in a high profile post, and in government, higher the profile means more nuisance value you have. That is how I describe high profile posts in the government. Otherwise, everything is like, wherever you are working, you have a way to contribute. So from a high profile post, quote unquote, I was shifted to something which was the least important. And I thought, I took that as in my stride, okay, this is also work which needs to be done. And the assignment which was given to me as a punishment posting, there, within a few months, I turned it around, and we actually, got an award for the department for that particular thing. So there is nothing small. So there is nothing small or nothing big. I think whatever you do, you should have the passion for that. What we are doing in WEP is basically, opening up the space for you. Because we feel everybody is doing, like Namita is doing such a wonderful job about mentoring, and we have visited some of the events which she has held in schools, various Delhi schools and all. So we feel, at least I feel, that so much is being done in the country, but there is a gap where we are not aware. So possibly we will be able to kind of address that gap. And once that is addressed, I think then the sky is the limit. But then we must know what we want, and whatever we end up doing, irrespective of what we want, there could be compulsions or anything, but whatever we end up doing, please take pride in it. That is the main thing which I would like to kind of stress on.
I think that's very well said, ma'am, that, how you convert an adversity into an opportunity. That's what you were battling with. And at the end of the day, when you're able to convert it into an opportunity, it automatically leads to success. So if Swami Vivekananda said very beautifully that take a risk in life. If you win, you lead. But if you fail, you'll guide. You'll still do something. So with that, Ramanan sir, the mission, ATAL Innovation Mission, has today become one of the most, it's like a revolution in itself. I was, indeed, during our school days, there was no opportunity to have a lab, and we would just learn basic computer skills, which really didn't serve us any good over a period of time. But today, the kids are getting opened up to such great innovation at such a young age, which is very, very important, because that's the time their mind and brain is building. So this mission has changed the face of how, entrepreneurship future is going to shape, how innovation mindset is going to shape. How do you think, schools should encourage more and more young, girls to come and participate? Because they often feel shy to come forward and get involved in it. So what should be the school's role, despite what you are doing?
First of all, I feel very honored to be in this panel. And secondly, I just observed, whether it was a slip of the lip or by intent, you did mention that Ashwini Kumar is the only man in this.
Oh, that's, yeah. my apologies. I take that back.
But I have to say my wife will be delighted today when she hears about this.
Funnily, Ramanan sir, when I was given the list, I only had him.
No, I felt really honored and for the first time accepted. So thank you so much. I also was intrigued by Shah, right, who made this very impassioned speech, and he said, "Follow your heart where it wants,"
Yeah.
because that's what makes an entrepreneur. And I'm a great fan of movies, and I remember My Fair Lady, where Professor Higgins tells, "Why can't a woman be more like a man?"
Right.
And then he says, "She will ask you very nice, she'll beg you for advice, ask you to be concise. She'll listen very nicely, and then go out and do precisely what she wants." So I think every woman has, by nature, an entrepreneur and fits very well the description that Mr. Shah said. But leaving that aside, I think it's a fantastic thing that is happening right now. More and more women are coming to the fore. But as Namita pointed out, as Anna pointed out, we still have glass ceilings. We have a mindset issue. We have a societal issue where parents feel that women should get educated, but not beyond. I mean, don't go to work. That's a big problem. After marriage, you just settle down and start, taking care of the home, whereas the fantastic potential that a woman has to contribute in many, many ways based on her education is sort of stifled. We also have a problem in societal, corporate and governance and government policies. We don't have policies that are enabling and empowering. So I think three very important things are there from my point of view. Number one, how do you educate? When I talk of education, it is not just the technical education and the girls' education we are talking about. How do we educate society as a whole of accepting the fact that women are capable of contributing as much, if not more, than men can? And in certain areas, they can definitely contribute a lot more than men can. There is no doubt about it. I know 36% of TCS 400,000 employee base is women. Now that's an IT company, the largest company in India, one of the largest in Asia, the largest market cap, 36% are women. Now imagine that. All those women have got a chance, and I think TCS is aspiring now to have at least 50% women over the next several years, and that's also a combined aspiration of the Tata Group. So first is education. How do you educate the girl child, and how do you empower them? By the way, when you said, how do you make the girls are less timid than boys. When I go to any school, it's the girls who are talking to me, and the guys are all standing behind feeling very. So it is not that the girls are timid at all, or they are shy. They are actually very spontaneous. They come to the fore. They are eager to speak and show about their innovation. We need to encourage that. We need to encourage that somewhere at some point in time that tapers down. And how do we encourage that, and how do we make sure that that continues to grow is very, very important, right? Sure. So education is very important. The second is, how do I put enablers in the governance systems, in private sector, in corporate, and so on, so that you are giving every woman an opportunity to rise to the very top. Sure. And I think Namita said one very important thing, and that is, very often women feel they cannot aspire to a particular post. Somewhere they self-limit themselves, and there is an education required both for the women as well as for the men who feel that a woman cannot function in a particular role. And today there are countless examples. Right. You have Tessie Thomas, who is considered as the missile woman of India, right? And she's one of the biggest scientists. And finally, the third thing is, how do you create an ecosystem for entrepreneurship empowerment? Right. And that's what ATAL incubators and things like that. Sure. We need to create more and more an ecosystem of entrepreneurship environment in the country, which will empower women. So absolutely. Those three things.
Thank you so much, Ramanan sir. I think with, firstly, pardon me, I think after your speech of 6 women and you, I think I considered you just as one of us, and I overlooked it. So first of all, apologies, but you are more vocal about this entire movement, and that's what makes it so riveting. So big round of applause for sir. With the passion that you spoke about, when I was listening to you, it just goes to show that it's not only about you accrediting these women in your life, but you feel that value at every single stage, is why this mission is so important to you. I would request all the students, if you could, the whole panel is to give you guys insights, so please stay back and make the most of it. With that, ma'am, I would like to come to you, Anshu ma'am. CRISIL. Well, the moment you hear about it, it's a big name, a big brand. You've been heading this institution with much glory, and now you're associated with the Women Entrepreneurship Platform. What, not just as a woman, as a leader, right? I'm looking at you as a leader who's running an organization like that. What are some of the challenges that you have seen and how you have not only combated that, have been able to kind of, bring in institutions that has helped for the progress part, and how with WEP you see that transformation happening? It would be lovely to hear, your insights on those two parts.
Thank you for your kind words. It's such a delight to be here today, and I'd like to thank Niti Aayog as well as NMIMS for having me here. It's a real privilege to see an audience on a women topic with plenty of men. Because otherwise, most such forums have only women. They have women on the panel, they have women on the audience. So we amongst ourselves talk about our problems and we go away. We talk about our solutions and we go away, and then we wonder why aren't they being implemented. So I'd really like to compliment this platform, this forum. And I'd like to share why. We are talking of a lot of numbers, right? Sure. Be it the simple fact that half our population, 600 million, are women. At the same time, we talk about only 8 of the BSE 500 having women CEOs. Then in the same line, we talk about maybe 42% of the graduating batch being women. Then we talk about 15% of the entrepreneur base in India only being women, but contributing to 64 million jobs. The whole sort of point in all of this is women are where they are today, be it India or anywhere in the world, because of one very simple thing, which is social conditioning. Sure. And that social conditioning can only change when the equality of men and women start with men seeing that. And it starts with the father, okay, it moves on to the brother, then the husband, then all the male colleagues at work, and the broader society at the same time. So to my mind, the catalyst for change is men as allies. Sure. And I humbly want to say today that I'm privileged to be here today only because of men as allies right from the time I was born.
That's
I'm going to touch upon something very touchy in India, but this is an important platform to state it, right? We are all fortunate because we are walking around. True. We know the high percentage of female infanticide in India. True. And, you're talking about what can you do with what is there. But imagine what more you could do if to start with that is dealt with. Sure. And that's the start point why I say social conditioning needs to change. A supportive dad, a hugely supportive husband, I have no brothers but plenty of cousins, a very supportive boss who refused to let me leave when I was carrying, or when I came back and I said that I can't cope. A hugely supportive hiring panel through the various job interviews that I've done. And the fact that despite the many odds that were against me, there was a vote of confidence has me here. True. So capability definitely is needed, right? So there is no question if a girl, a woman, a baby girl does not feel the confidence, the pride, is not given the opportunity. Now, both are critical. So for something to happen, you need both to work. Capability gets killed when the support is not there. Sure. Right? So it's very important to talk about girls believing in themselves, having that confidence, faith, pride. It's equally important for society, for our very, very dear, important male fraternity to provide that support at every step of the way. And to my mind, that is what can catalyze change. And just to kind of link that back a little bit to the industry that I serve, you know, it's a privileged industry, the services sector. And I say this with a lot of pride. Our sector in India can talk very proudly of having 36% of its workforce as women. And believe you me, that's the reason the services sector has, ever since it's become 50% contributor to GDP, has delivered more value to GDP, to market capitalization, to jobs than the other sector.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there are three reasons for that. One, the work conditions are more supportive than the manufacturing sector. And I want to sort of share a very simple story. I'm part of financial services. You know, we're a family of two sisters. My sister is an engineer from IIT and then went on to do her MBA. Very proud engineer, said, I will start at shop floor. Right? Started at the shop floor. Day one in the company. And you know, obviously starting off at a supervisory level, realized there was no washroom. Okay, had to travel for 1.5 hours home and come back and be shouted at for that. I was privileged. I joined a bank. It didn't even cross my mind. And I learned when she joined, she's younger than me, that this is the challenge and why a conducive and supportive work environment is very necessary, which is what makes the services sector what it is. The second and very important thing is the ability to deploy technology effectively in times of need. It's not about all the time. I don't think any woman here would shirk from responsibility, hard work, or long working hours. But you know, you get points in your career where you need that support. True. And the services sector steps in with technology, has always done that. And that actually prevents a lot of mid-level management going off. Because, you know, when you deliver children, it does get hard. And, you know, I've said this at all forums, and I do not want to miss the opportunity, and I know I'm taking slightly longer. You know, as women, we are the chosen ones from God to deliver babies. It's a privilege. True. And that's what keeps the human race going. Let's understand that.
Absolutely.
Right? Otherwise, you won't have a human race, by the way. So if the work environment is not going to be pro that, we will be like Japan today, which because of the challenges that they had in their work environment, women never progressed. And look at their society.
The most
it's the
aging
most
country.
aging society.
Most aging
They're
country in the world.
struggling with their workforce. And most importantly, look at the decline in market cap and GDP.
Absolutely.
Right? We all relate to top line numbers. That's why I want to link it back.
Absolutely.
And the third and the most important thing, it's not only about men as allies, it's women as allies too.
True.
You know, very often when women get the privilege of being in a position of power, if you don't do those extra, not 1, 2, 3, but 5, 10, 15 things, you are not going to make that change.
Absolutely.
And for that, sponsorship of talent is very important. Providing a framework, providing mentoring, okay, especially in times of need, to give women the confidence and men the ability to deal with this unconscious bias, this uncomfortable situation, because, you know, diverse skill sets can create challenges, but channelize it because it is reality. There are studies that have proven that companies deliver better ROE when the senior management has enough representation by women. It's diverse, ideally from different states, different countries if possible. It deals better, there is a better culture, the conduct at work is better, risk management is better. And I think that is what makes it happen. And CRISIL today is a good example because I'm very happy to say, apart from the fact that we have 36% of our, actually no, we start at 42%. So we actually mirror the graduate pass-out ratio. That's the kind of intake we have. Right. Very happy to say 30% at the senior director level and 30% of CRISIL board is women as well. And it's about walk the talk. I would hate to be sitting here and not being able to have these statistics because I would have failed. So it's really the organization and the ecosystem that I really pay my gratitude to for having this privilege to be able to share these points. Thank you very much.
I think that was very, very well put, Anshu. I think what you talked about, you know, in simple things has three parlances to it. Firstly, you know, bringing from what Ramanan had said, that if you educate the girl child, and the girl child will automatically be empowered. And if you have an ecosystem, like you said, that it is not just about work or friends or colleagues, it's family, work, friends, colleagues, that ecosystem enables you to kind of really move forward. And third thing is, if you have been able to gain as a woman and you do not share, then you have failed. So if you have gained, then your biggest opportunity is to ensure that you share it and take it forward so that others are getting benefited from it. So don't just sit there, act upon it. You know, with that, Jyoti, coming to you, you know, we talked about education, we talked about enablement, we talked about the ecosystem. One of the things that often comes forward as a gap is that our today's education system is flawed, that we do not train people for the future jobs. We do not train them to become self-sufficient. We train them with things that are dated and often are not skilled to make them really futile, right? So with that, given that, you know, you come from skilling as a background, that has been your forte, how do you think skilling for not only jobs, for entrepreneurship, right? Not only just education of entrepreneurship, but skilling for entrepreneurship, how I can, if somebody is great at painting, how I can hone that and make them more enabled to market themselves, because just doing a great painting is not going to earn them money. They need to know how to market that painting. Similarly, like, you know, if you're in manufacturing, you produce some great products, but you don't know how to kind of take it forward. How are we going to bridge those gaps? If you can shed some light, and thereby how WEP as a platform can benefit.
Good evening, everybody. And I run two companies. One is a skilling company, which is Image Consulting Business Institute, where we train women as well as men. And fortunately, there are more women who are into skilling than men. The second company that we run is Invent India Innovations, where day in and day out we deal with innovators, people who actually develop products. So what I realize is, number one, ideas in a nation of 1.3 billion is not a problem. If I throw out a question here, or if we have a brainstorming session, ideas will be plenty. With all these initiatives, what we've also realized is, from ideas to prototypes is a great journey. The problem starts beyond prototyping. What do you do with those prototypes? So I'm glad to see that it's moving, the conversations are moving from savings to scaling up, from just vocational training, which we used to hear about earlier, to entrepreneurship. It's really, really heartening. However, the statistics very clearly say and tell us that while more women are entering technical education at higher levels, still their representation in the workforce is very, very low. And that remains a big gap to cover. As far as skilling goes, we are again, you know, dealing with challenges like, it's a wide spectrum to cover. On one end, we are looking at urban-rural gaps, so we are talking about digital literacy, just in terms of using of internet, Googling, Paytm, how to pay your things, internet banking. And at the other extreme, we are looking at things like automation, coding, machine learning, and digitization, digital marketing. So it's a huge gap that we need to cover in terms of skilling. However, what is more important as women entrepreneurs and workers is the non-cognitive factors. And that is what brings women up. And throughout our trainings, what we realize is women suffer from something which is known as Namita said very rightly, guilt syndrome. I would put it as perfection syndrome. We want to be perfect everywhere. At home, with the kids, in the office, in the workforce. It's okay. It's an imperfect world. It's okay to be imperfect. We need to learn to draw boundaries for our higher goals, which is very, very important. We need to learn to negotiate with our colleagues, with our staff, and only then the ecosystem is going to change. We need to start asking. A lot of times we don't do that. So that I feel is a very big gap. Training on negotiation skills, training on emotional intelligence and empathy. We are very, very good for with emotional intelligence. At the same time, what is very important is the ecosystem. So I feel if you want women to be empowered, the ecosystem, the men need to be trained on emotional empathy and intelligence first. That is superbly important. So having said that, I also feel role of media is very important. Most of us, what we keep hearing all the time is stories of violence, and the only message that we get is it's an unsafe world. So we are very, very privileged. If the role of media can change and we can bring about that transformation and hear more positive messages, if somebody from media is here, it would be very, very inspiring for women.
I think you said that very beautifully, Jyoti, that sometimes one of the biggest hindrances for women to come forward when it comes to entrepreneurship is the safety and security. Not just financial, but also the physical part. And the moment you open today's media, all you hear is the Macrobert incidents, one more gruesome than the other, talking about, how many rapes, how many physical abuses, and all of that has happened. I wish we could celebrate the goodness more than the, the ones, the negatives, right? So, with that, right, I think the summation of the panel has been that there's a beautiful shloka that comes to my mind, is that ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadhanti, which means the truth is one. The truth is that women are at the helm in many ways or the other, but they need to be recognized, they need to be nurtured, and they need to come forward and take the others along with it. We often don't need somebody else to hand over the torch to us. Maybe we ourselves, if we take the movement forward and not depend on just, others, I think we will be able to progress a lot faster. So we have two questions. We have limited time. We have two questions from the Facebook Live today, and I would open it up to my, respective panelists to take it up. So we have one which is from Ms. Sathya Sundari. This was from the Facebook Live session that we did on the WEP platform today. Her question is, women working in rural areas does not have access to markets or marketing. How can Women Entrepreneurship Platform help us with this? How will it connect us to people who will also guide us in this aspect? So, Anna ma'am, would you throw some light on that?
Yeah, I'll take that question. Basically, in the WEP, the platform, we have 4 or 5 verticals. One, finance, which we mentioned. Then we have investment, where Anjali Bansal, unfortunately, she fell ill. She could not join in. So she will be focusing on that. We have compliance, where if you want to start off, if you have a new idea, then what are the patent rules? Should you go and actually patent your idea? What are the rules for setting up a new business? What all should you comply with? So Chartered Accountants Institute is already on board, and Amarchand Mangaldas. So that is one vertical. Then marketing is also one of the verticals which we are focusing on. In marketing, we have had talks with, Retailers Association of India and many other big procurement companies. But what we are attempting really is to develop a community where women can then aspire to become part of the value chain. So this lady who has, raised this question, who is in a remote area, she'll get access to, I don't know what she's into. I don't think she's mentioned that.
Not mentioned,
so
yes.
whatever it may be, though we may not be able to guide her today, but if she comes on the platform and registers, and through the Facebook Live, I'll request her to register and put in her query as to what she's producing, then not only will we be able to connect her at some time future with the concerned organization, she will also be part of a community where she'll be able to interact with others and find out her link in that value chain. Thirdly, what we are also trying to do when we had this meeting with Retailers Association, quality control, standardization, design, these are all the issues which are very, government is doing a lot, but they are very centrally provided, like you have one FDDI somewhere. So we are partnering with some organizations, especially in the Northeast, where we are trying to address that. Packaging is one of the challenges which Retailers Association pointed out. They said we can give them shelf space in all supermarket stores, but then packaging is a challenge. So we will be partnering with institutes that provides training in packaging and hand-holding. So this is, we'll be developing this forum and this community where they will be able to identify the market for themselves and find the market.
We have another question before we wrap up today's session. This is from Shreya. Her question is that the biggest challenge we women entrepreneurs have is not the idea, but how to actually create a business plan that is viable and sustainable. How can WEP as a platform help us with that?
I'll ask Ashu to kind of reply. Before that, I'll just, this is the thought which I mentioned in my opening address. From the very beginning, I had roped in CRISIL, and, in finance, I would like to give, at that time, I don't know whether you were in CRISIL, but we were working on the setting of infrastructure debt fund. And we brought in CRISIL from the very beginning because we wanted to develop these bonds which were AAA rated. So CRISIL was able to, because they were part of the discussion from the beginning, they were able to identify problems as to if you address this, then I can improve the rating.
Absolutely.
So that kind of stuck. And so in WEP, CRISIL was the first agency whom I approached. And CRISIL is working with us, and now hopefully Mr. Kumar is there and others will be in it. So we will be guiding them as to what should be the business, what is the business plan, rate them on that, and identify also the problem areas. Then I'll ask Ashu to supplement that.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So this is a wonderful platform, firstly, because it is such a great ecosystem which allows you to connect, allows you to get evaluated and improve your chances of getting finance, and then you can actually touch base with so many people to grow your business. Since the question is very specifically around business plan, there are three aspects to it. Some of it is live and some of it will start happening because of the event today and the initiatives that are coming up. So what's already launched is VCheck, which allows an entrepreneur based on the profile of the business plan, the individual, and because it's the business plan, what are the kind of estimates they're looking at, and also gives the opportunity to put in some open-ended questions. Basis that, there is a composite score, and that composite score has breakdown elements which actually tells you what is your plan scoring. And since, like the way CRISIL operates, we talk about our methodology, we're able to point out areas where if there is more focus, more improvement, your score can improve. Now, if you look at that in conjunction with the ability to seek mentoring, to seek advice from various people associated on the platform, you will get the necessary input to improve your plan, to improve the chances of getting finance, and thereby really setting up a successful business.
I think that's wonderful. Ramanan, sir, if you can add, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to add, the WEP platform is a fantastic convergence point. So I want everyone to understand that.
True.
It's a convergence point of entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, investment capital companies, partners, mentors, very successful women innovators and
Yes.
success people. So what happens is when you register yourself to this platform, you actually get access to individuals, to entities like CRISIL and so on, to the partners that Niti Aayog has developed, and to very successful people. So when now you have a platform where, so for example, ATAL Innovation Mission is a partner. So we have 101 incubators listed on our website where somebody who is interested in opening up an entrepreneurship startup can latch on to one of those nearest incubators.
Absolutely.
We also have a whole list of mentors on our ATAL Innovation Mission website. And these mentors are accessible because these mentors, the whole idea is to validate a business plan, to validate a strategy, to validate your thought process itself, market access and segmentation and so on. So these are all available through the partner. Right. And what Niti Aayog has done through the WEP platform has built a fantastic network of partners which is continuing to grow. And partners in various disciplines. It is not just commercial, people with social entrepreneurs, sports people. I mean, our advocate is, who is that film star guy? Sushant
Singh Rajput.
Sushant Singh Rajput. Sorry, I know him only as MS Dhoni, so. So, Sushant Singh Rajput, and that's why I confuse the sports person with the film personality. But these are all the people who are there. And so you have access to a real rich set of resources, which I think everybody should use. And that's where this Women Entrepreneur platform is so, I would say, not only just innovative, but long-reaching and looking into the future. Because this is going to evolve as more and more people start using it and getting attached to it. I just thought I will.
I think that's a beautiful insight. I think, a big round of applause to all our panelists. Thank you so much, each one of you. Namita.
I would want to make a sales pitch here. We have also announced the Women Transforming India Awards, which is third year in the running. Last 2 years, it was open about, women doing something very stellar. But this year, we have kind of restricted the scope to only entrepreneurship. We request you all to kind of nominate women whom you think have done exceptionally well in this in the area of entrepreneurship. If you feel you have done well, nominate yourself. Everything is possible. But please, we would like to showcase women entrepreneurs who have excelled in this field. So we look forward to more and more nominations.
I may just add, considering she's on the sales pitch. But this is not a sales pitch. This was a request by the Prime Minister. I don't know whether you all saw in the latest interaction he had with ATAL Tinkering Labs. He requested one thing, and that is, he felt, and I think it is very true, there are thousands of innovations, grassroots innovations that is happening across the country. But nobody knows about it. Absolutely. Because it is not coming to the surface. So he requested that all these innovations be tweeted or put on your Facebook Live. And we are also entering into a partnership where we will be advocating a website. But please tweet it with #InnovateIndia. #InnovateIndia. And you were mentioning about many innovations that you are privy to. I mean, through your organizations also, I request you to pass on this. The whole idea is this. We want a whole lot of grassroots innovations, especially women-led innovations, to surface. And then there is going to be a team which is, we're going to build what I would say in long term as an innovation exchange, where people who are interested in innovations can log on, they can see what innovations are there, and we want to create a vibrant marketplace for innovation exchange. So that is the whole idea. So students are welcome, but don't just #InnovateIndia and talk about some film or something. Let it be an innovation. Thank you.
And following what Ramanan sir and Anna ma'am said, a lot of you should be aware that some of the awardees of the Women Transforming India Awards last year are this year's Padma recipients. These women were nobody was aware of them, nobody was aware of the great work they were doing, but because of Women Transforming India, they were brought to the forefront and were recognized and are now the Padma winners, or 3 of them out of the awardees. So please, nominate yourself, your friends, your family, people in your village, people in the areas that you guys have access to, any great stories that you have come across and feel that should get recognized. Ramanan sir and Anna ma'am are focused on doing that. To summarize today's panel, while we have had these beautiful thoughts, one of the things that comes for the forefront is that India has so many opportunities. But there is today one single platform for women to access these opportunities. and convert them into life success stories. And that is what the Women Entrepreneurship Platform is enabling you to do. It is giving you that single point access to Ichha, which is your aspiration to do something, to Jnana, that is the knowledge that you require to be successful, and finally the Karma. Ultimate end result of all of that is a successful business idea seeing the light of the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time today and being present. Thank you, Namita. Thank you, Ashwini sir. Thank you, Anna ma'am. Thank you, Ramanan sir. Thank you so much, Ashu, and thank you, Jyoti. It's been wonderful moderating you guys, and what an honor to learn so much. Thank you again. Please take Anshu, Jyoti. They need about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you all for your insights on being a woman entrepreneur today. I would now like to invite Mr. Harshal Shah to felicitate Ms. Namita Thapar, Ms. Ashu Suyash, Ms. Jyoti Sudhir, and Dr. Somdatta Singh. Thank you, Harshal sir. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Roshan Yedire to come here and deliver the vote of thanks. Dr. Yedire is the manager of the ATAL Incubation Center at NMIMS.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is probably the most important part of the entire event, right? Thanking, the vote of thanks. Because an event like this, especially when it is a double launch, because we had the launch of the keynote address, the first keynote address under the WEP event or the program, which is going to, starting today. And I have been told that this is going to continue in a few more cities in the country. So we are really happy and proud that, NMIMS is hosting it. And also the launch of the ATAL Incubation Center at NMIMS, which Ramananji rightly suggested that, we're lucky enough out of a total of 20,000 applications, 13 got through and NMIMS was one of it. So I'll start with, first of all, thanking, the management of NMIMS, Amrish Bhaiji, Dr. Saxena ji, Dr. Maiskar, Dr. Meena ma'am, and all the other senior faculty who were behind, putting this proposal and submission of the application for the ATAL incubation. Because without their support and guidance, we wouldn't have even thought of, sending our application to ATAL Innovation Mission. So thanks to our team. Also, I thank the deans, the directors, principals who were guiding force behind this formation of the AIC. Special thanks to Dr. Meena Galiara, Dr. Anuja Agarwal, who were the key people when the proposal was put forward. I also will take this opportunity to thank Ashwini Kumar ji. Ashwini ji, it was, I think, your idea and your proposal that we not also launched the WEP platform, but also launched the ATAL Incubation Center on the same day. So when this proposal came to us, it was sort of, we thought how will we pull it off, and there we are. I think we have done good. So thank you, sir, again for proposing this. I thank Ramananji, sir. Again, you've been an inspiration, one of the most prominent innovation managers in the country, and leading the most prestigious programs. Thanks for your guidance, and thanks to your team that you felt that NMIMS was credible enough to be given this opportunity to launch the incubator. I'll also take time to thank our special women entrepreneur chief guests, Ms. Namita, Ms. Ashu ma'am, Ms. Jyoti ma'am, thanks for your time. Your words were really inspiring, and I'm hoping that the women entrepreneurs, the students, some of them who already have entrepreneurial ideas and are applying to our incubator will take your lead, take your suggestions. I just want to share here that just 5 days back we had launched our portal, and as of today morning we had 203 women entrepreneurs. Let me repeat, 203 women entrepreneurs from Mumbai have registered. So a big thanks to all of them. I understand a few of them are here among the audience. Most importantly, this event we couldn't have pulled off, without the help of volunteers. And this year, for this event, the volunteering has come from the law school. So a big thanks to all the law students who have worked really hard and made this possible. Also, thanks to the faculty coordinators who enabled the student entrepreneurs from different colleges in the SVKM and NMIMS campuses, enabled that they are here today. So thanks to all of you. And last and most important, thanks to the AIC team, the ATAL incubation team. Harshal, hats off to you. You're a great leader. A lot more inspiration we get, every day from you. And thanks to my members, team members, Poonam, Nandini, Tanay, Keyur, thanks. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for attending this event, and have a good evening. Jai Hind.